The name says it all. Profit Maker Bulls. From our very beginning, we've had only one purpose: to increase the profitability of our genetic alliance members and our customers through identifying and propagating superior genetics. Today, we'll continue our tour with a look at our recently installed feed efficiency measurement system. Our feed costs are skyrocketing. We felt we had to do something to control them. Since we cannot control commodity cost, the only practical way to reduce feed cost is to select and propagate the genetics of cattle that can gain rapidly and maintain themselves with less feed. Yes, you heard right. There are cattle out there who can achieve high rates of gain in the feedlot and who can maintain themselves in the pasture while eating less feed than their herd mates. The challenge is to identify and propagate them. This requires measuring the average weight, the amount of gain, and the quantity of feed consumed by individual cattle during a test period. Up until recently, the cost of gathering this data has been so expensive that only taxpayer-funded research institutions were able to do it. This is slowly changing. Profit Maker Bulls has completed its installation of a grow-safe feed intake measurement system. We are only one of a handful of privately owned and funded operations in the United States that has this system. In cowboy terms, this system uses an electronic identity tag to record who is eating and samples the weight of the feed unit each second to determine how much feed that animal has eaten. In this photo, 3 of the 4 individual feed stations are occupied. We can view in real time the information that is being recorded. Here, each vertical bar represents an individual feed unit. The red bars identify the individual feed stations that were occupied at the time this snapshot was taken. We can also monitor the individual feed consumption patterns. Note the relatively level graph representation of daily feed intake for this animal. This is what is normally expected for healthy animals. At the end of the test, the quantity of the feed that each animal should have eaten for his weight and gain is calculated and compared to the quantity actually eaten. If the animal ate less than expected, he's efficient. If he ate more than expected, he is inefficient. Animal scientists call these differences between expected and actual feed consumption residual feed intake. In this sample report taken from the actual test data, the difference in feed consumed between the most and least efficient bulls is 8.11 pounds per day. If cattle were fed following weaning and preconditioning for about 160 days to harvest, the most efficient animal would have reached harvest weight while consuming just under 1,300 pounds less feed, saving almost $100 in feed costs. Residual feed intake, whether positive or negative, is moderately heritable. This means that the genetic selection can be used to propagate cattle that can reduce our feed cost by as much as 10 to 15%. Feed efficiency is not related to frame size. Both efficient and inefficient cattle can be large or small framed or anything in between. At this time, there are no known negative antagonisms. At Profit Maker Bulls, we're testing both bulls and heifers. By evaluating sire groups of both bulls and their heifer mate sisters, we can begin to identify and to propagate the genetics of the bulls and heifers who are more feed efficient. Profit Maker Bulls will be sharing their progress with you, our customers.